Give it to me.
Hey, this is Nomad, host and creator of the Career Musician Podcast. Why do they call me Nomad? Well, I traveled the globe, spreading the joy of music one song at a time. And now I bring you wisdom, tried and true knowledge, and life experiences of my colleagues and peers in this crazy business we call music. Welcome to another episode of the Career Musician Podcast. Today we have DW3, Down with 3, R&B vocal group sensation.
This is the Career Musician Podcast with your host, Nomad.
Okay, out here in Southern California, there's a really cool spot called Spaghettini's Jazz Bar and Grill. It's down there in Seal Beach, which is just south of Los Angeles. Every Thursday and every Sunday, you can catch one of the hottest bands in the biz, DW3, which simply stands for Down with 3. Comprised of brothers Eric and Billy Mondragon and close family friend Damon Ripoll, they are some singing fools, let me tell you. These guys have a beautiful blend in harmony and leads, and they all take turns being showcased from song to song. Their sound is like R&B, funk, contemporary pop. It's all blended together. They go back with some soul elements, and they work very closely with an all-star cast of LA's finest musicians and artists. I am sitting here with three of the most talented cats I know in LA. Singers, songwriters, performers, known as DW3.
What's happening?
What's happening?
So Down with 3, how did it all come about?
Well, he's my brother. First, Billy and I are brothers, and we've had this band running for the past, 25 years now?
25 years this year?
Yeah. Okay. And there's Damon.
25 years.
Yeah.
So you guys are brothers. You started it. How did you meet this guy, and how did he get the audition?
He was actually working in the studio. And with another friend of ours, David Salas.
Nice.
And I had seen him.
I was a studio musician.
That's right.
Okay.
I had a group. It was a 4-part harmony group, and then these guys were in the studio recording an album, and I was just doing some demos for this cat named Dave, and that was pretty much it. Like, they just said, "Hey man, how old are you?" I was like 15. They waited until like I was 20, and then called me literally like on the eve of my birthday, like,
He
"Hey
was
man."
killing back then when he was a young youngster, man.
So did you sing with them in the studio that night? Or?
Well, we sang. We used to do shows and stuff, and we would come up and do a few songs. But
It wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't until I actually joined the band that I jumped on. They just threw me in the fire, bro. Like, "Hey, you don't know how to swim? Here you go, buddy."
We said we got 14 gigs in 2 weeks and plus New Year's. Can you learn 25 songs in 5 or 6 days? And the rest is history.
Bro.
I mean, so 14 gigs in 2 weeks, but that was 15 years ago?
15 years.
You guys have been doing that since I've known you.
Yeah,
we've been doing that for 25 years.
Yeah,
you're on a cruise, you're on a tour, you're hitting the street here in LA, all over, up and down the coast of California. I mean, 25 years you guys have been hitting.
Yep.
And so tell us about your album. So the first album was
First it was live at
Spaghettini's.
Live at here.
Yeah.
That was kind of like the testing the waters of what it could be like.
Yeah. Second album we did ourselves. You were on it actually.
That's right.
Life, Love, and Music.
Life, Love, and Music.
And then On the Floor was the one that kind of broke us into the whole scene.
We had a top 15 hit in smooth jazz record.
Number one soul album in the UK.
Yeah. With Gerald Albright, we did a song with Gerald Albright, song with.
We had a lot of people on
that. Yeah, a bunch of smooth jazz, great artists on there with us.
Man,
and then
that's beautiful.
And then this last one, Vintage Truth, which was like pretty much like this was our project, but we got signed that year.
Right. Yeah.
So it was kind of like a full circle type thing. We went through all the motions, and we got to do it on our own.
When we did a song with Dave Koz, When You Cry.
We did everything on that album from production,
songwriting.
songwriting. Yeah. So it was kind of our breakout album, and we ended up getting 4 songs on Billboard that year in the top 20.
Top 20.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's killing. So you guys have been playing with a nice mix, R&B, smooth jazz, a bunch of different artists. You just named a whole handful of heavyweights.
Right. And got nominated for a Grammy, too.
Yeah.
Dude, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. It's just a matter of time before you actually get the Grammy, so that's killing.
Hey, God willing, man.
drummers. So you're watching an amazing drummer on YouTube, and they're playing something so crazy you just can't figure it out. If only you can tap this drummer on the shoulder and say, hey, can you slow it down and break it down for me, man? PossibleChops.com does exactly that. They've asked some of the top-of-the-line drummers to play in short, digestible phrases some of their craziest chops. Then they slow it down and transcribe it so you can actually learn what the heck they're doing. They're making chops possible. Now, PossibleChops.com is an online drum lesson website that makes it easy to add to your drumming vocabulary from some of the baddest professional drummers. And when I say baddest, I mean the dopest, illest, most ridiculousest drummers you ever heard. Imagine getting a breakdown from drummers who played with the likes of Usher, Earth, Wind & Fire, Chick Corea, Babyface, Sheryl Crow, Tony Braxton, and the list goes on. The PossibleChops.com community is designed to allow drummers to share ideas and help you on your path to becoming a pro and getting gigs. That's right, folks, actually getting real gigs. If you're serious about drumming, do yourself a favor and visit PossibleChops.com. Join today, and basic membership is free. However, if you decide to upgrade to a pro membership, use the promo code NOMAD to get your first free month. That's right, folks. Use coupon code NOMAD and you get the whole first month absolutely free. Adding new chops are now made possible for drummers on PossibleChops.com.
Add the career musician to your playlist today.
So some of your influences, real quick. Just
Stevie Wonder.
Steve Perry, Luther
Perry,
Vandross,
Donny Hathaway.
Drew Hill.
you can tell, you can hear it all.
Yeah, we all have our different styles,
awesome.
You notice how we all named our different styles, It's like,
I love it.
It's like
I love it.
All the great R&B influenced singers, entertainers is what we grew up with and what we're still doing.
It's good music,
today,
man.
Let me ask you guys something. As this podcast is the career musician, right? So we all work for a living. This is what we do. Like me, I've been a sideman my whole life. I've been fortunate enough to work with Babyface now for 11 years, right? Mm-hmm. But that's in a sideman capacity. You guys all had your experience in that way, but then you became artists. Tell me about the transition, especially you, Damon, from being a studio cat to actually being an artist, and all of you. How was that transition?
Yeah.
And
for me, honestly, I was young, so I was like, bring it on.
Natural.
It was natural. Now I kind of, it's kind of like one of those things where you think about it more, like, okay, what are the pros and cons? Then it was more of like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. But for me, it was a blessing, man, because I didn't have that live element, and I learned as I went. It wasn't like I went to a place where I got hired and then they fired me because I wasn't good enough. It was like, yo, let's try it out. And it was natural. And the harmony blend, I think, is what kept it. Because we're all individual singers.
That's right.
But when it comes to doing a harmony, we all have
sing
that
as
pitch,
one. As you should when you become a harmonious group. You gotta sound like
right.
one.
And you need that. Like, have you seen like Next? One guy has a real high pitched voice. The other one has a real low, like smoky tone.
Right.
And then the other one is like super falsetto. You need those three elements when you have a group, because you can't all sing the same part. You gotta all break it down, and do each.
So break it down for us. So Eric, what's your part in the harmony chain?
I'm pretty much mid.
Okay.
Mid-range.
high lows.
High and low. I noticed you could do crazy falsetto and crazy low, right?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty much like low, baritone,
mid,
and lead.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's like mine. When I get up to the higher register, I gotta like scream it out like Teddy Pendergrass type.
Right.
Yeah.
But you guys are all versatile, but together you blend really nicely, and that's the whole point.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And Eric, you play keys as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
and you play with the band all the time. Every time I'm here, I think you
and
play.
Billy plays percussion.
I
as
play
well.
percussion,
You
right.
play
I'm the
percussion.
studio guy.
Yeah.
Records,
You-
writes,
you produce and everything. Right,
edits,
exactly.
engineers,
Exactly.
Pro Tools and Logic.
Man,
So.
that is so awesome. Hey, words of wisdom to up and coming young artists out there that are trying to break into the biz. I mean, we could be kind of
where the secrets.
pessimistic and be like, fuck the music business because it's really hard.
Right.
The honesty. The honesty.
Honesty is to stay in there because, shoot, we're older now. We've been doing this for 25 years.
Think about it too. Is take the music business for what it is. It's a business. Learn the business first.
Yeah.
And then it'll all fall into place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The talent will get you so far, but if you don't learn the business, you're not going to get anywhere. There's so much to this business
or
to
learn
know.
the business as you're being an artist, and because being an artistry is so important. I mean, you have to do that, of course, and that's the whole reason why you're doing it.
That's right.
But you have to, at the same time, learn the business as well.
Every once in a while, I get a very pleasant text from either Eric or Damon in the group saying, hey, can you play this Thursday? Can you play this Sunday? And anytime I can get down there, I always go jam with them. So this podcast interview took place on one of the Sunday brunch jams, and we were just sitting in the back having a little bit of the amazing food and kicking it and talking. And I said, guys, I got to get your input and tell the world what it's like to be a band and the struggles. And let me tell you, folks, these cats have grinded it out and they are in it for the long haul. And I love that about them. Their perseverance and diligence and hard work ethic really combine to make them one of the strongest groups I've ever worked with.
Learning the secrets of the industry from the veterans who know it best. Be sure to subscribe to the Career Musician Podcast.
Yeah, let's talk about some of those business skills, So first of all, negotiating a gig, right?
man.
Negotiating a contract, as it were. Or even a contract. A lot of cats just do a gig on a text or a handshake.
Right.
Or a DM on Facebook.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
That's how we
Pick
met.
up the phone, Yeah, but you didn't start like that.
Right, no.
You have to build a relationship. So talk about that.
Yeah, for us, we're fortunate enough that we know pretty much every single musician on this earth. And that's we always say it's a joke.
DW3 is a rite of passage.
If you haven't
Like
played
Nomad.
with DW3 in LA, you haven't played in LA.
You haven't done the scene.
You haven't done the scene. So we've been fortunate. I mean, we can call guys from Gaga, Babyface, and
anywhere.
In the drop of a hat, they'll come over. And what it is, it's a relationship.
It's not on tour.
Yeah. You gotta have a good hang, though. That's very important.
Oh,
man.
yes.
That's almost just as important as actually the musicianship.
That's why you can play. You got to be a great hang too. Because if you can't
if
hang,
nobody likes you, nobody's gonna keep
gonna
you.
throw you off the bus.
Well, and it's like you said, it's the networking. Networking is so important because 9 times out of 10, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
It's who you know.
You know what I mean? Getting into places like, okay, let's just say Babyface. You know what?
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I know the MD for Babyface. I know, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We know those people, and if you got to get involved with those people, you got to be seen, because if you're not seen, you'll be a garage musician your whole life. You got to get seen. You got to get out there
too. And if you record demos, have a plan.
Yeah,
if you're gonna record a demo, have a plan. If you're gonna record a demo and this is gonna sit in your garage and no one's gonna hear it, then no one's gonna hear
in
it.
your garage.
That's the truth,
Have a
because
plan.
there's so many people who record music, but it sits on their hard drive.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's fear. It's a fear, man.
That's what it is.
People not liking it. Not everybody's gonna like your music.
Yeah,
man.
that's a big thing
Even
right
of
there.
not being accepted.
Even if 40% out of 60% of the world likes your music, that's fine. You made it, man.
But let's say even if 10%.
Even if
right?
10%.
That means that there's some people out there that
That
like.
You know how many
like it.
records that is? That's a lot of records.
And out of
sold.
7 billion people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's still a lot of
I want-
records. So don't worry if you get hate mail, if you get people that hate on you, hate your music. It doesn't matter, because per every 1,000 people that love your music, there's 1,000 people that hate your music, or vice versa.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
And now with the modern day forms of internet and all these different apps and everything that we have, that's free marketing,
Right.
Free promo to the masses, right?
Utilize
You
that.
just gotta know it, man. You gotta sit there on YouTube, man. I went to the University of YouTube. Anytime I need something, YouTube it is. I learned how Pro Tools, Logic,
That's right.
and mixing, editing. Everything I learned was on YouTube because it was a necessity. It became one of those things where like, well, I gotta pay this guy $50 every hour to sit there and press a button, when I could just sit there for maybe a week and learn everything and never have to do it again.
And you get better over
You
time.
get better
with it.
over time.
That's it.
It's you gotta put in the effort, man.
Wow.
You gotta
See,
put in the effort.
and that's what most people want to do.
It's work.
That's
It's
the
work.
difference between bands that make it, bands that don't.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the effort and the
It's
work.
the effort, man.
And you
It ain't
guys
all
are
fun and
living-
games, man. It's all great. And look, the lifestyle looks fabulous.
But it's not
It is
like that.
fabulous, but there's a work involved that you have to be
for
ethical about.
for a year of work, you get maybe 2 days out of the year where you get glammed up and you go to an award show and blah 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 blah.
You gotta
And
reap the
people
benefits
only
of
see
that.
They only see those 2 nights you went out. Oh my God, you're so lucky. But they don't see the sacrifice of leaving your family, of having to be in the studio 16, 18 hours, driving in traffic for 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
You know, they just see like, oh, you're
dealing
so
with
lucky.
musicians.
So listen, but the truth of it is, here's the raw truth. You guys are a 3-piece band. 2 of you are brothers. you're essentially all family now for 25 years. How the hell do you get along? Because all bands break up. So you got to be able to, but you got to be able to
You gotta
fight
have thick skin.
with
thickest,
rules,
the
right?
thickest skin.
You know what? We fight. We have a blowout once every 3 months, but it's a constructive blowout.
Right.
We got to get back on track again. It's a time for us to talk.
We all know it needs to be said.
Hash it out and go forward.
And most
It's like
of the
any
time,
healthy relationship.
most of the time we know what needs to be done, but until you're in that track, that space,
Until
you're
it's
like,
addressed, you have to address the issues. If you don't address the issues, you can't ignore the issues because they're just going to build you up inside and you're going to blow up like I always do. But also you got to have the thick skin to take it and not to say, oh, we're going to break up. You can't just break up every time a problem happens.
You got to think business, and that goes back to knowing business. What's smart? What's the right thing to do? You know, hey, we got to talk. This is a business. We got to hash stuff out, create new rules, and go forward.
Hash it out, create new rules, guidelines that you want to adhere to.
Right.
It's like any other
it's a never changing.
Right.
It's a never changing.
It never stops changing.
And you constantly evolve. Constantly evolve. If you don't,
because if you don't evolve, then you're just pretty much stuck in the same
just
place,
swimming in circles, right?
Right.
So all your socials, your social media,
DW3 Music.
DW3 Music.
all the way across.
Twitter,
DW3.
Instagram, Facebook,
Beautiful.
and website.
I want to say something on the marketing tip. You got to keep it all the same,
Yes.
so people don't get confused.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
very
That's
smart.
very
Very smart.
That's
one
why.
little number, one little hashtag.
One little handle. That's it.
Yeah.
What's next for DW3?
we're touring.
2019.
We got a new record deal, a new record, and a new tour.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're going to be hitting 2019 hard.
Yeah, we're gonna hit the
really
world,
hard.
man. We're gonna go international.
Nice. You're going to get national radio, international radio. There you go.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
And you're streaming everywhere. Pandora, Spotify,
Everywhere.
YouTube.
Everywhere.
DW3 Music.
Beautiful. One of your most memorable moments. Something that
The Hollywood Bowl
The Hollywood Bowl. Yeah.
with Boney James. That was,
This past summer.
DW3, thank you guys so much for
Thank
being
you,
on the
man.
Career Musician.
Appreciate you,
I guess
man.
we got to get back to work here.
Yeah, we do.
Right?
Yeah.
Love you guys.
All right, bro.
Thanks, Nomad. We love you, man.
Closing it out for another episode of the Career Musician Podcast. Thank you, DW3, down with 3. It's DW3music.com. Be sure to check them out and follow them everywhere. The Career Musician Podcast brought to you by Pantheon Podcasts. Be sure to check us out everywhere podcasts are available. PantheonPodcast.com houses us along with a ton of other cool music-related podcasts. Go check them out.
Until the next gig, if you've enjoyed today's interview, please leave a review and subscribe to the Career Musician Podcast.
I'm just a nomad, nowhere man, writing the songs in this one-man band. A nomad, yeah, I'm a nomad. Hush now, darling, you'll be fine. I'll be back this way sometime. Until then, baby, don't you cry. 'Cause I'll be calling. Nomad here, host and creator of the Career Musician Podcast, wanting to tell you all about PantheonPodcast.com network. I am a part of this collective that is solely music-based podcasts. And guess what? It is the only one of its kind on the globe so far. It is a collective of an independent network of podcasts, all based on music, which dig into the culture, technology, history, and everything else you can imagine that has to do with music. Thank you so much for listening, and be sure to check us out at PantheonPodcasts.com.